office. The 4th annual festival for Arabian camel races is to be held at Bashaya Racetrack for camel races in the Wilayah of Adam in the Governorate of Ad-Dakhiliyah during the period from 15th to 20th of February 2021, with a wide participation from camel owners from the Sultanate and the Gulf countries. His Highness Sayyid Asad bin Tariq Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for International Relations and Cooperation Affairs and Special Representative of His Majesty the Sultan, said that Al-Bashar Annual Festival for Arabian Camel Racing is a sports forum that carries in its contents various values and meanings, as this year will appear in its new look after the completion of the developed expansion and additions witnessed in its various facilities. In a statement to the Oman News Agency, His Highness has indicated that the support of this festival gained from His Majesty the Sultan so that this popular heritage remains preserved from generations to another. The State Council approved a proposal to study the status of elderly care in the Sultanate as it considers the importance of enhancing the services and facilities provided to them socially. The Council also approved a proposal for the Culture, Media and Tourism Committee to study the Omani digital cultural content with the aim to focus on international aspects through enhancing a comprehensive electronic portal on the World Wide Web. The members of the State Council during their sessions reviewed the deep-rooted Omani heritage in addition to ways to invest it so as to reflect positively on the economic sector, especially tourism. The session was chaired by His Excellency Sheikh Abdul Malik bin Abdullah Al Khalili, Chairman of the State Council. With the total cost estimated at 5 million Omani Riyals, a usufruct agreement has been signed to establish commercial entertainment center in the Special Economic Zone at Duqm, Cezad. The agreement stipulated establishing a commercial entertainment center in the Special Economic Zone at Duqm on an area of 10,500 square meters with a total value estimated at 5 million Omani Riyals. The first phase of the agreement will include establishing different facilities such as cinema halls, virtual reality games, interior golf play courts, besides restaurants, international brands outlets and car parkings. The second phase of the project will include 4-star hotels, residential and commercial buildings, aiming to provide integrated services for the visitors. Oman oil price April delivery recorded an increase today by 76 cents, amounting to $60.50. The average price of Oman crude oil February delivery amounted to $50 for the barrel, increasing by $6.17 compared to the price of last January. To the Camera News Bulletin. Al-Hadiyya industry is a traditional Omani handicraft that is still being preserved. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Minister of Health announced that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 136,187, while the total number of deaths reached 1,536. The total recovered cases reached 128,089, which is 94% of the total recovery rate. The ministry indicated that the total number of inpatients during 24 hours reached 142, among which 42 are in intensive care units. Medical staff continue to strive for excellence in medicine through educational, clinical practice and research efforts. More details in the following reports. In one research study conducted in the Sultanate, it was awarded at the 7th Research Forum recently.
Healthcare professionals continue to strive for excellence in medicine and healthcare in general through clinical practice and research efforts, despite these current challenges stemming from the global breakout of COVID-19. Scholarly practice and research continued at all levels of care. At the 7th Research Forum held recently in the Sultanate, in which 12 researchers were announced winners in their various studies, Dr. Thamra in the medical field is one of the winners. Her study examined the impact of a multi-component intervention to increase physical activity in adults with type 2 diabetes in Oman.
The MOVE Diabetes is a cluster randomized control study that looked at evaluating the effectiveness of a multi-component intervention in 8 health centers in Muscat region. 4 health centers received the MOVE Diabetes intervention versus another 4 received usual care. The MOVE Diabetes intervention composed of personalized and individualized physical activity face-to-face consultations. We also introduced objectively physical activity measurement tools, accelerometers and pedometers. We also use the technology through phone applications to follow up the patients. Participants were adults who were 18 years of age or above with type 2 diabetes and those with no contraindications for any physical activity.
Similar to global trends, diabetes prevalence in Oman is increasing. According to the recent statistics of the Minister of Health, 6 out of every 10,000 of the population are hospitalized due to diabetes, and 3 per 10,000 of the population due to high blood pressure.
We followed the patients for 1 year. The results after 1 year was very impressive. There was a significant increase in the physical activity behavior, including reduction in sitting time. And there was also positive and significant outcomes in the cardiovascular outcomes, namely the blood pressure and also glycated hemoglobin.
Dr. Thamra's study, which was published in the British Medical Journal, is clearly indicating that an active lifestyle and a balanced diet are all it takes to maintain a sound body.
This study gives a very good platform towards integrating physical activity and lifestyle behavior change interventions in our primary healthcare setting in Muscat region.
So, it's of great importance not to get comfortable with such unhealthy notions in life and strive to build a healthier community. For a person with diabetes, exercise is just as important as medication and diet. So physical activity continues to be fundamental to your health. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Sib Polyclinic.
Al-Hadiyya industry is one of the prominent traditional Omani handicrafts that is still being preserved. More in the following report.
Al-Hadiyya is one of the authentic Omani traditional crafts. It is particularly used to adorn the Omani women traditional head covers. Let us explore the details of this valuable industry with the craftsman Ali Al-Kindi. For nearly 40 years, Ali Al-Kindi has been skillfully weaving these threads to make Al-Hadiyya using this traditional tool. Based on the order he receives from his customers, Ali begins taking the initial measurements in terms of the number of threads, the width, and the colors that correspond to the specifications of the order.
بدأت الشغلة هذه وأنا عمري 12 سنة.
I started in this craft when I was 12 years old. We used to live in a neighborhood called Abiyat al-Nisasij, where the young and the old worked in weaving. It depends on the order. I make colored and plain حظية. We sell الحظية in مطرح, الباطنة and الشرقية.
With ultimate precision and mastery, Ali arranges the wool and silk threads to produce this cohesive textile art, to which he has a real attachment since a young age. Hence, he instills this authentic Omani heritage in his children to learn this craft and preserve it.
I like this craft and encourage all in the new generation learn this craft because it is important in our tradition. Learn this craft is not easy, especially this generation. We should do something unique for this scarf because all Omani women will encourage to use this.
In addition to making the fabric coherent and keeping it from being torn from the edges, Al-Hadiyya adds a special elegant touch to the traditional dress of Omani women, particularly the headscarves. صالح بن خلفان الرحبي, ولاية of نزوة, الداخلية, Governorate.
As the WHO group wrapped up a visit to explore the origins of the coronavirus, an expert said today that the virus is unlikely to have leaked from Chinese lab and is more likely to have jumped to humans from an animal. The Wuhan Institute of Virology in central China has collected extensive virus samples, leading to allegations that it may have caused the original outbreak by leaking the virus into the surrounding community. China has strongly rejected that possibility and has promoted other theories for the virus's origins. WHO food safety and animal disease expert Peter Van Amberg said it was very unlikely that a laboratory accident led to the introduction of virus to the humans population. The WHO team that visited Wuhan, where the first cases of COVID-19 were discovered in December 2019, is considering several theories for how the disease first ended up in humans, leading to a pandemic that has now killed more than 2.3 million people worldwide. About 60% of all Mars missions have ended in failure, crashing, burning up, or otherwise falling short. In a statement to the complexity of interplanetary travel and the difficulty of making a descent through Mars' thin atmosphere, for the United Arab Emirates is the country's first venture beyond Earth's orbit, making a flight a matter of intense national pride. This year is the 50th anniversary of the country's founding, casting even more than attention on the Amal, the celestial weather station, is aimed to an exceptionally high Martian orbit of 22,000 kilometers by 44,000 kilometers. It's set to join 6 spacecraft already operating around Mars, 3 US, 2 European, and 1 Indian. Amal is expected to perform an intricate high-stakes series of tons and engine firings to maneuver into orbit and achieve what has eluded so many times before. The car-size Amal cost $200 million to build and launch. That excludes operating costs at Mars. Heavy snowfall covered Berlin in a blanket of white today, partly freezing water in canals and rivers and hampering traffic. Elsewhere in Germany, there are severe traffic disruptions today, including a 37-kilometer overnight log jam in which hundreds of cars and trucks got stuck on the highway for hours in sub-zero temperatures. Hundreds of vehicles were trapped on the A2 highway in western Germany all night in the traffic jam. Rescue teams were from car to car handing out blankets and hot drinks. Traffic jams due to snowfall and icy roads were also reported in Brandenburg State, in the east and the Hesse state in the central Germany. Train services were also partially cancelled in several regions as snowplows were working around the clock to free the tracks of ice and snow. More snow was predicted for northern Germany for today. Parts of the central and northern Europe have been gripped by the cold weather spell since the weekend. While Australia is moving towards reducing the number of waste bins in parks and public places to raise community awareness on the need to maintain the cleanliness of public places, the City of Melbourne has begun to establish public parks without waste bins, aiming to protect the environment. And more of that in the following report by Musa bin Jafar al-Lawati.
This family is spending a good time in this natural park in Melbourne, using the facilities provided to grill and prepare food. However, when they leave, they will take their garbage with them, as this park and other similar parks do not provide any bins. The local municipalities in various Australian suburbs and cities tend to reduce the number of waste bins from public places in a step to enhance and raise community awareness of the need to maintain the cleanliness of public places. In this park, which is overlooking this spectacular view of a lake, signs have been put instructing the visitors to take the garbage with them to keep the place clean. It is worth mentioning that some local municipalities in Australia have begun to get rid of waste bins, not only from parks, but from schools too. This initiative is meant to enhance community awareness of the need to reduce waste and protect the environment. From Melbourne City, Musa bin Jafar al-Lawati, Australia.
This is the Sultan of Oman Television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The State Council reviews proposals to study the status of elderly care in the Sultanate and study on the Omani digital cultural content. A user-fract agreement is signed to establish a commercial entertainment center in the special economic zone at Duqm. And Oman oil price exceeds $60 per barrel, reaching its highest level since more than a year. Our message to you: a fight against the COVID-19 continues. Therefore, it is imperative to follow strictly the preventive measures so we can stay safe and healthy. Good night.